What's going on, guys? We're here with a little bit of Star Wars news. Some of you may have already seen this. Some of you might just be seeing it for the first time. I just saw this last night, like late last night. This article was posted about 22 hours ago. But Lucasfilm Trademarks, the Galactic Circle, among two others, speculated to be new Star Wars projects. Now, speculated obviously the big word, but last weekend fans discovered that trademarks for multiple terms tied to Marvel Cinematic Universe were hastily filed ahead of the company's Hall H presentation at San Diego Comic-Con. That's kind of the ticker for this, for the Star Wars side, is because the ones that they're going to go over here, while some have yet to be definitely proven, several key trademarks, including Multiverse Saga, Captain America New World Order, Thunderbolts, Kang Dynasty, and Secret Wars, were all confirmed to be authentic when Marvel announced them to a crowd of thousands of adoring fans, blah, blah, blah. Other titles, such as Shang-Chi sequel with trademark registered as Shang-Chi and the Wreckage of Time, have yet to be proven as authentic. Some speculate they'll be at D23. Now, a lot of these were shown as was they hastily filed ahead of the company's Hall H presentation. A lot of the times, these companies will do this because they need the trademark to publicly present it. So they'll file the trademarks like as late as possible, basically, to avoid more spoilers. And since you have to trademark the actual names, they need to make sure the name is set in stone and that they're going to announce it like very soon after. Because Marvel knows, like, Marvel leaks a lot of the times are from the credible Marvel sources that provide leaks, are a lot of the times very accurate. So they're not stupid. They know they have to do that like as close to the actual release as possible. They could be doing that with Star Wars, because it seems yesterday it was discovered Lucasfilm filed three similar trademarks: the Great Circle, the Galactic Circle, and the Circle of Resistance. And while none of these trademarks are explicitly tied with Star Wars, the terms used in the second and third trademarks include terms commonly associated with the franchise. It's been clear for a while that Lucasfilm has opted to deprioritize works that are not tied to their in-house intellectual properties. Basically, what they're just saying there is that they don't touch anything that's not a Lucasfilm IP. And this goes into some more details that the trademarks were classified under the 9 and 41 labels, and looking back at previous trademarks for frame of comparison, the internal classification of some of these trademarks under the 9 and 41 labels match up with previous series and films developed by Lucasfilm in the Disney era, with Rebels, Force Awakens, Rogue One, Last Jedi, blah, 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 blah. Having one or both classifications along with upcoming or announced projects. So if the trademarks are indeed upcoming, maybe we'll see them in D23. And tying back to what they said with the IP stuff, there are also trademarks for things that have not manifested as of yet, such as Skywalker Academy, or things Lucasfilm has passed on, like Children of Blood, which is now proceeding at Paramount. That was a whole thing that just goes back to them sticking with a lot of their own in-house IPs. But this is interesting because we have three titles here, and I'd love to hear your guys' thoughts on them, because at face value, I haven't done any more research into these possibilities yet. But at face value, from some of the other articles I read really quickly and skimming through the forum, it seems like, if I had to guess, if I had to put an assumption on it, these two are not project titles. These two seem more like they would be something part of the project, but not an actual project title. Like, you won't see Star Wars The Great Circle, you won't see Star Wars The Galactic Circle, but there's something with a circle that they needed to trademark for one reason or another. Now, Circle of Resistance, I don't think is a project title, but is basically a project title. Circle of Resistance sounds like, and this is kind of theory crafting, so this isn't like anything I read anywhere. This is just me going through motions in my head, but it seems like Circle of Resistance could possibly be the inner circle who started the main resistance for what we saw in the sequel trilogy. And as we know right now, in the main Star Wars TV show timeline, we are post original trilogy, pre sequel trilogy, with Mandalorian, Ahsoka being the two big ones, because we're getting Mandalorian season 3, we're getting Ahsoka season 1, and we already know Ahsoka, because she was in season 2 of Mandalorian, her timeline is the same. So it's possible that they're planning ahead, and something with like a galactic circle and a circle of resistance could be hints at, maybe we'll see a project that's the start of the resistance, which could be interesting. I think a lot of people are turned off to the time period. I think there's a lot of people who would rather them stay away from anything close to the movies now. I think there's just been so many fans have been burned already. They feel like they've been burned from the most recent shows like Obi-Wan Kenobi and Book of Boba Fett, that they don't trust Disney or Lucasfilm anymore to touch legacy characters. And the sequel trilogy, we all know, well, we don't have to talk about the more outspoken fans' opinions on those, but it is important to take note of it and not ignore any fans' criticisms, regardless of what side of the fandom they're on, because we do know right now there's a split between toxic negativity, toxic positivity, and then just people who don't like the sequels and people who like the sequels, and then people who are just Star Wars fans that they are cool with everything. They're not like too deep in it. They're not extremely picky about it. They enjoy Star Wars. They think it's cool, and that's fine. But if this is a hint at a future show, I think it's important to note as well, Andor is coming out. And it's pretty obvious that the Resistance is a more or less copy of the Rebellion from the original trilogy, and the Rebellion in the original trilogy was a lot of pocket resistance, pocket rebellions. It wasn't anything. They did have like the main rebellion that Leia was a part of, and the main characters in the movie were a part of, but the rest of the galaxy was not underneath that hub of the rebellion. That was like the quote unquote main rebellion, the main hub of the rebellion, but there was pocket insurrections all across the galaxy. So that could, maybe it's the same with the Resistance, where there's a main resistance that kind of forms up, maybe from certain Imperial senators who, or maybe not Imperial senators, but because that's the original trilogy timeline, but just certain people of power who kind of create this inner circle, maybe, and we'll see like pocket resistance show up all across the galaxy, so they know, we have support in multiple systems on multiple planets, and it could be a story about how the Resistance came to be as the Empire took power again as the First Order. Which, again, leave your comments below about what you think about that. It does kind of suck that we're in a place with Star Wars right now where a lot of fans feel like it's hard to get excited about anything. A lot of fans just feel so burned from Lucasfilm, like I said before, for one reason or another. Everybody has their reasons, but it does suck that a lot of fans also feel like they're being pushed out of the fandom. I've seen people online talk about how, and this is starting to become something I'm seeing more and more of, is people talking about how they feel as if Star Wars fans are not as welcoming anymore. A lot of people on Twitter and stuff, they feel like they can't openly discuss actual Star Wars anymore without either sequel, like the diehard radical sequel fans attacking them, or the diehard sequel haters being like kind of the same, like that's where the toxic positivity, toxic negativity comes in. Is on the radical side of the sequel haters, you definitely have toxic negativity there. But then on the radical side of sequel fans, you have the toxic positivity. And there's no. A lot of fans feel like there's no safe space in the middle anymore because a lot of people categorize you online based off of some Star Wars opinions you have. And there's definitely people that get bullied on Twitter and bullied on forum pages, and it sucks. So hopefully things change, but it also is the social media age, so you never know. But this one is the one I wanted to highlight from this article, is the circle of resistance, because maybe it's also not an inner circle of people leading it, but maybe it's a circle of different resistance groups that catch wind of each other and they go, hey, let's team up, let's help each other out, we've got resources, maybe you need these, we need those resources, let's plan some guerrilla warfare. It could be cool, especially if they made, like, imagine like a Band of Brothers type show but Star Wars. It could be really cool. Definitely could be cool to see something like that we have not seen before. The closest we ever got to what I was kind of imagining with that idea is in the Solo movie when you see him as an Imperial infantry in a battle. Because that was also the first time that we saw Imperial infantry and not stormtroopers. So who knows? Leave your comments and let me know what you guys think. I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace out.